What you see, what you see in front of you is a agenda that we're going to talk about first, and then Brian will run the clinic when we get to the end, talking about crew officiating and communications. The first thing I'd like to talk about is this. I want to thank you guys for taking time out for your Sunday night and Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And I know that I know that you guys have chapter meetings, and on Tuesday, please try to make your appointed, the referees and umpires are Monday, judges are Tuesday, and wings are Wednesday. Please try to make those appointments. I know some meetings are on Tuesday night. Once your meeting's done, if you have an opportunity, please try to get on. We still may be on. The first speaker of the night we have, for those of you that don't know me, I'm Nick Murray. I'm the male officials rep for the WPIAL and for District 7. Our first speaker of the night is if you're new, or like some of us, we needed equipment every year, will be from Chris Miller from Officially Sports. Chris, it's all yours.
Okay, thanks, Nick. Welcome everyone for another year of football. I just wanted to introduce our company for those that are new. Officially Sports is a supplier for the PIAA for all the equipment and uniforms that you may need. Along with my husband, Randy Miller, we are the owners. Mostly my general manager is the one that is there. I am taking a step back a little bit, so I'll be behind the scenes working from home, and I'll be there. But if you need to talk to me, I'm there. Just ask, talk to me if you have any questions or problems with anything. We really are happy that you guys use us, and we're just glad that we're able to supply you guys every year, and I hope you guys have been treated well from us. But anyway, to go on, we have a full supply of the football items. The 2-inch stripe shirts, the sublimated, are selling like a lot right now. So we have two choices. We have the performance mesh, and we also have the body flex. Both are nice. We have a full stock. So if you'd like to come in, I welcome you guys to come in the store, try things on, or you can order online, and we ship out every day. So you get it within a day or two. This week coming up, we'll be at the convention. So we will be closed on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So don't come down to the store because we are closed. It's on our website. So anyway, yeah, have a good year. If you guys have any questions, let me know. But as far as Saturday hours in August, we'll be open after the convention from 10 o'clock to 1 p.m. on Saturdays, and then during the week, 10 to 5. So is there anything, rain gear? We have the shirts that prevent the rain from soaking in. So yeah, they're called the rain shirt. They're new this year. They're a 2-inch stripe. They're very nice. Don't have a price right now. We do have the cold weather shirts that repels the water. They are $92 this year. And I'm sorry, a lot of the prices have gone up. With the supply and demand, all our prices, we got hit hard. So, and pants, we have plenty of pants. They may be packed away or leaving on Thursday morning, but stop in Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, and we can help you, or the following week will be best. Or visit us at the convention. We'll be in the Brady room. We have all the merchandise up there. So any other questions? I think that's all, Nick.
Okay. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
All right. Our next speaker will be the new chief operating, new to the position with the title, but not new to the WPIAL Board of Control. Vince is now the WPIAL Chief Operating Officer, and Vince, I'll let you talk about what you're doing now within the WPIAL in your new role as Chief Operating Officer in the WPIAL. Go ahead, Vince.
Thanks, Nick, and thanks for inviting me. I just want to welcome everyone back for another season. Our board of directors has split Scott Seltzer is a new executive director, and they sort of split up the job responsibilities. So Scott this year will be primarily working with eligibility, PIA liaison, and things to do with our monthly meetings. Luckily, I won't have to do any of that. That'll fall on him. I will be responsible and in charge of all tournaments, all championships, our playoffs, our officials, our Hall of Fame. Those are the things that I will be responsible for. That questions in our office will come directly to me, and Scott. He'll work on his things. I'll work on my things. Obviously, we talk. We're an office away from each other all day, but we wanted to split up some of those duties so we could focus. Each of us can focus on particular things in the office to make it run a little smoother. So if anybody has any questions, basically, if it's pertaining to sports, it's me. If it's to administrative eligibility or PIA meetings, that would be Scott. So anything related to sports officials and Hall of Fame, I would be answering all those questions in our office this year. And I work, we have Becky, who is Becky DiGregorio is a new female officials rep. Nick is back again for another term as the male officials rep, and I work with both of them very closely. I know Nick and I talk almost daily, and we hope that you guys have I know you've been working hard in the off season, and things are right around the corner as we start on the 15th. We have HEDAC for our football team start on a week prior. I think that's the 7th is a Monday. So heat acclimatization starts on the 7th. All other sports start on the 15th, aside from golf. Golf starts on the 7th, a week earlier also. And all other sports start on the 15th. If anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out to me at any time, or go through Nick, or call the office, or email me. And I'm pretty good at getting right back to you pretty quick, within a few hours or so. So just want to wish everyone good luck on the upcoming season. Hope everyone has a great time and works hard. And hopefully I'll see everyone. I get around to a game a weekend, try to watch the games during the year. And then I'll be at a playoff game every week. And then obviously at all the championship events. We hope to announce our championship events at this month's meeting. I just have a few loose ends I have to tie up with a few other sports. And right now we do have I do have the okay to start that Friday after Thanksgiving for classifications 1A through 4A down at Acusure. Is it Acusure? Acusure Stadium. And just about ready to the week prior, class 5A and 6A, we'll announce those. I'll make that announcement in the next couple of weeks. Thanks, Nick.
All right. Hey, are there any questions for Vince, guys and ladies? Okay, Vince, thank you very much for your time, taking out your time on a Sunday night. You're welcome to stay as long as you want to, or if you need to get back to the wife and the grandkids, we certainly understand it. And thank you for all you do for the WPIAL, the officials within the WPIAL.
Thanks, Nick.
All right. All right, our next speaker for you guys, some of you guys might know Mike, some of you guys may not know Mike, but Mike Burrow is the Northern Athletic Director. He is the WPIAL Football Committee Co-Chair. And I asked Mike to say a few words only because some people don't know Mike, and if Mike wants to go into what he does within the Football Committee Co-Chair position, that'd be great. Mike, it's all yours.
Thanks, Nick, and thank you all of you for attending tonight. You're very fortunate I don't have my picture up there tonight, so you don't have to see me. But now I just want to thank all of you for all that you guys do. I'm a fellow official also, and I know how difficult it is. And, we just stay out of the road as a football committee, and we try to do our best to seed the teams as best as we possibly can. And hopefully sometimes we get a few things right. But again, the focus on tonight is the officiating, and we appreciate all that you guys do and to make our tournaments and regular season possible. So thank you.
Mike, thanks very much for what you do for WPIAL also and what you do to seed the tournament. And a lot of people don't know, but Mike looks at a lot of officials for us also for the tournament. And basically, there's suggestions made by the football committee. I have the football committee working with us, to make sure we get the right officials at the right place where they need to be. Mike does that for us during the year, as he sees at least 10 games, possibly 12 games a year, because his team plays in those games. All right, next speaker we have is the PIAA football rules interpreter for the state of Pennsylvania. Some of you that were on this meeting last year met Dave Blair, but I've invited Dave Blair back again because I think he's doing a fantastic job of where he's at. He came down to our championships last year down at Heinz Field, and we invited him into the locker room, and it was very well received by the officials that were down there, that they got to meet the statewide rules interpreter for football. So Dave, it's all yours, sir.
Thanks, Nick, and good evening, everyone. Just a couple of things I want to go over and just make myself available to each and every one. Try to work any football questions, role interpretations you have through your role interpreters, through your chapters, and then back through your district interpreters. I know Nick wanted me to touch base. There was a few changes as far as wording and goes with the lightning. And every year we kind of deal with this. And I just want to touch base real quick on how we need to handle this. You'll find it in the rule book in the Appendix E. And just want to briefly go over some as reminders. Remember, upon arrival to a game each night, we know what the weather forecast is more than likely going to be. So if we're looking at bad weather that night, talk to game management, ask them who they have monitoring the weather, whether they have some sort of app on their phone. Is it the trainer? Is it one of the administrators? And where they will be and how you want them to interact with you in the event of lightning and thunder. Now the protocol is, if we hear thunder, we're also going to take that as lightning, that the storm is at the leading edge and is close. So we need to take some steps to do that. Allow the game manager and also talk to them about how to make sure they have an evacuation plan, which I'm sure every school does, and a safe place not only for the teams, but for us as a football crew as well, especially if the locker room is some distance from the field. The game managers and ADs, not we as officials, determine if the game will be delayed. Then it is up to the league how the game will be resumed if we suspend. So we have a 30-minute delay. If the game goes to suspension, I know some leagues don't play can't start the second half after a certain period of time. Just kind of know that going into the game and during that delay period. Remember, when thunder is heard or lightning is seen, the leading edge of the storm is closed. So we're going to delay that game for 30 minutes. We as officials don't enter into it. Once the game is suspended, we're going to wait 30 minutes from the last lightning strike. All right. If seen again, we're going to start that 30 minutes all over again. The point I want to make is, remember, officials are to stay out of the decision to restart the game once it's delayed. The league rules will dictate when the game will be resumed or suspended. But I also encourage the crews to make sure, if we go into a suspended situation, to leave with the home team game manager, whoever that was for the evening. Make sure we have the score, the time, the quarter, the down distance, where the line of scrimmage is, where the ball was placed, the direction we're traveling on the field, and also any UNS files that we have or any disqualification files we had up to that point. We need to be very thorough in the information we leave, because we may not be the same crew coming back whenever that game is resumed after suspension. So just keep aware of that. It's a significant occurrence when it does happen. I know we don't like to get delayed, but remember, thunder is now considered lightning. So be aware of that. That's kind of what's changed in that piece of ruling. Nick, is there anything else?
Yes, Dave. So the question to you is, and we have some crew, we have some people that will look at this and do this. If we see that, and we all know there's no such thing as heat lightning, okay? But the storm could be far enough in the distance where we're not hearing the thunder. So we want to have thunder and lightning, and thunder and lightning are considered the same thing, correct?
Correct. And where I think where you're going with that is, I know there's a section in there that states if it's off in the distance, and what they mean is it may be a very clear night where we are, or high clouds, but whenever the storm is way, way off in the distance, you're seeing that flash of lightning maybe on the horizon. It's not high in the sky. That they're allowing some latitude with that. Again, most schools, I think, are using some sort of app on their phone, or they have a lightning detector, the trainers do. And I always say, we're going to go with what they determine how close that storm is. But again, if it's at horizon level and it's just off in the distance, you can tell when it's reflecting off the clouds or reflecting off the night sky. They're allowing us some latitude there, but be aware, if there's lightning and thunder, we're going to have to delay the game.
And the biggest thing I want to tell you guys, especially the referees, make sure if it's on a weather night and they're calling for thunderstorms, okay, that you get together with both coaches, or actually not coaches, you get together with a home team administration and find out what's going to happen if you do have to delay. All right. The other thing is, I know that in the WPIAL, if it's in the second half and it's an exhibition contest and it doesn't have section, it's not a section game, there may be times where the team has to travel pretty far. It will be up to the administration to say, okay, we're calling this a complete game and we're not suspending it. Remember, that's not your call. Okay, the call is on the administration whether they want to suspend or delay or call a complete game. Because I know that if we suspend during the second half, and Mike Burrow, correct me if I'm wrong here, we suspend during second half of section games, we need those completed. Is that correct, Mike?
That's formal.
Correct.
Okay. All right, so remember that in the second half, if there's something in the second half, okay, talk to the home team administration and talk to the visiting team administration also about what you're going to do, okay? And like I said, as soon as that happens, we have the 4 assigners on board here. As soon as that happens, your game's suspended, and you're going to come back the next day, referees got to get to their assigner and tell them, hey, listen, we suspended. Here's who can make it back. Who can't make it back. All right. Any questions around that, guys? Dave, anything else to add?
No, sir. Just wish
Okay.
you all a good season. And if I can help in any way throughout the season, please let me know.
And Dave, you'll be back down to Heinz Field if possible. All right.
You're not calling it Heinz Field anymore, are
Oh, my fault.
you? Yes, I will. If
Okay.
the invitation stands, I would be happy to be there. I had an
We'll work
enjoyable time
that
last
out.
year. You guys do a great job with that, and it was very enjoyable. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave. Our next speaker will be Dave Barry. He's our WPL football rules interpreter, along with Bill Schottenheimer. So go ahead, Dave.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome. Just a couple more things on that lightning. Most of the locker rooms we're in, guys, we don't have windows and we're back in the middle of the school. So somebody from the crew is going to have to stay outside or stay, have a visual in their ears on the outside so they know that 30-minute time period would restart if they heard another thunder or lightning. We just can't go back in the locker room and relax. As you see, Billy Schottenheimer has been added as a rules interpreter for District 7 and 8 to help me. We'll work together. You'll see both of us out at your chapters. Other than that, follow through with the questions through either one of us, and we'll get an answer back to you as quick as possible.
Hey, Dave, the question I have, Dave, is there chapters assigned to each of you guys, or are you going to cover all the chapters
No,
together?
we're going to cover
or-
them all, Nick. We're
Okay.
gonna sit down and decide which ones we can cover. We talked about maybe going to a couple of them together and we'll work it out that way.
Okay, so basically the rules question should go through the chapter interpreter first. then
Correct?
You guys second from the chapter interpreter, then from you guys, Dave Barry and Bill Schottenheimer on to Dave Blair.
Correct.
Because Dave Blair does not want to field 295 questions every Saturday morning, correct, Dave?
Correct.
I would say correct. And let me add something too, Dave, if I can jump in, Dave Barry, on when we do resume a game, and the one thing I left out is when we resume a game after a delay, a lightning delay, we're gonna minimum give each team 3 minutes to warm up, a minimum. So you can work that out between coaches if they need a little bit more. Let's use some common sense. If we're off for quite a while, give those teams an opportunity to get loose and get warmed up again.
Okay, thanks, Dave.
Absolutely.
Dave, Billy
Um,
Schottenheimer, anything, Bill?
One last thing, Nick,
Oh.
on the Lightning, I know there's a few attorneys on. We're in Western Pennsylvania. We don't have many horizons that we see on most of the fields we work. So if you hear thunder and lightning, I think it'd be safer to get everybody off the field in this day and age.
Dave, just so I understand, and Dave, we're talking about a situation as on-field officials, we see thunder, we hear thunder, see lightning, we stop the game. It is on game administration to say, yes, we're going to continue after the 30 minutes and it's clear, or that's what you're talking about, right?
Yes, correct. What happens is we get the 30-minute delays. We're going to get all the information written down on our card. We're going to get the teams to their respective locker rooms, which is their safe area, which we would have talked about before the game. And then you're going to get with the home game administrator and probably the head coach and probably the visiting coach. And you're going to say, okay, it's X number time. It's 7:30. We're off till 8 o'clock if there's no more strikes. And what you want to do is if there's a strike at 7:45, now we're off to 8:15. You want to keep those coaches up to date with where we are and what time we go back. And then at some point, the game administration is going to say, yes, we can go longer. We can delay it a little bit longer, or no, we will suspend the game.
Michael, Mike, that's all up to the game administration. They don't want kids sitting there 2 hours and getting home at 12:30 or 1 o'clock at night.
Right. I understand now, Nick. I guess maybe I just got a little confused when Dave Blair was starting to talk. Like, I am never, ever going to wait for game administration to delay or postpone because of lightning, only to resume. And at what point we're no longer going to wait around for the weather to clear. We'll come back tomorrow or whenever.
And I agree with you, Mike. Absolutely. If we see it, we're stopping it, taking control. In as much as we have control, if there is in your pregame, if there is a trainer there with one of the lightning indicators and they grab one of the wing officials and say, hey, it's within 3 miles, it's unsafe, then we have the authority then to shut the game down based upon their input to that as well. So you are correct.
Got it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're the first. Remember, guys, you guys are the first ones that are going to shut down the game. All right, you're not going to wait for game administration to shut down it. You're going to wait for game administration to say, okay, we can go back and play, or we can not go back and play, or we're going to suspend, or we're going to delay, or whatever. All right, that's what game administration is. All right.
Nick, what we're doing is we're telling you're the home team administrator. I'm going to come and I'm saying, Nick, we've been clear for a half hour. We can go back and play now. Or I'm going to say, Nick, we just had a lightning strike. We can go back 30 minutes from now.
That's right.
And then that's on the game administrator to make the decision if we're going to wait that and go at that time, or if we're going to suspend the game.
Okay, fair enough.
And we do whatever he says. And then after that, then we're going to get into calling the assigner and telling him, hey, we have a suspended game. Here's where we are. Here's who can come back and help them out as much as we can.
Okay, great. All right, thanks, Dave. Billy, welcome aboard as District 7 rules interpreter.
Thank you. I look forward to getting out to the different chapters and meeting everybody. So Dave and I will sit down, talk to where we'll go together, where we'll go separate, and we'll get out to you. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Donnie, are you on? Donnie Woodward? Donnie? Mike Jarosinski. Hey, Mike, thanks for joining from Ocean City, Maryland. So Mike's on vacation, as some of us are. So Mike, do you have anything to say to the group before you can go back and enjoy your vacation? Mike,
Nick, there's a question in chat.
okay. See what it says. All right, yeah, section game, Brian, you're right. Section games have to be continued. If a certain game suspended, what games have to be continued? All section games do have to be continued, because that's Gardner points depending upon whether the playoff spot is determined or not. So all section games, there will be no section games, even though it's 40-0 in the second half. All section games must be completed to the end. Okay? Mike, are you there? Jarosinski.
Hey, Nick, I have a question. This is Bill Highcamp. When you say the game has to be continued, does that mean that night or the next day? I mean, there could be a situation where it could not possibly be completed that night.
Right, no, it has to be continued whenever.
Okay,
That night or the next day. It's not a complete game. They can't be suspended, section games. But a section game could be suspended with the opportunity to play that night or finish the next day. Section games must be completed to the end. You're not waiting around until 1 o'clock at night. Okay? Bill, that answer? Okay,
Hey, Nick,
Yes,
I have
got
a
it.
question.
who is it?
This is Todd Kaiser. I'm from the West Penn chapter.
Okay,
So, what's the word I'm looking for? If the teams agree to end a game and it's 40-0 and it's a section game, that does not matter, correct?
no, it does matter. Both ADs know, and they will get communication from the WPIAL. Both ADs will know that game has to be completed.
Okay.
All section games must be completed. All WPL section games must be completed, whether that night or the next day. Okay? All right, Lenny. I didn't hear Mike, so I'll go Lenny Leeper. Anything,
Hey-
Lenny? Anything,
Hey,
Lenny?
Nick. Thank you, Nick. Real quick. Go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. Hey,
Mike
hey,
there?
Nick. Yeah. Hey, Nick, thanks for inviting me. I just wanted to spend about a minute and a half with the guys, and I'd like to ask everybody to do 4 things. And I'd like everyone to show up on time for their game and have some respect for all the people that are working that event. Number 2, I'd like to have everyone work hard and apply everything they have to the game. I mean, after 48 minutes of football, it's all over. The third thing, I'd like everybody to make sure that they take the time to enjoy the event. The season goes quick. The years go by. Everyone knows how fast time goes. And on game night, make sure you take in everything and enjoy it, because it doesn't take long before it's over. And the fourth thing, I hope everybody stays healthy. Every assigner needs everybody we have. We're short of officials across the state. And if everybody stays healthy, it only adds to the success of the season. And I would like to thank everybody for helping the game along. Brian and Lenny, myself, and Woody. Everybody works hard to try to get everything in line. And we appreciate everybody's time on Friday night. So thank you so much. And I hope everybody has a good, safe, and healthy season.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks for your time, sir. All right, there was a question on there. What if administration wants to start before 30 minutes? That can never happen. All right, we still have to wait the 30 minutes. Okay, even though the skies may be totally clear and the storm's long gone, we still must wait the 30 minutes. After the 30 minutes, we can get back on the field. You give them the 3-minute warm up, and then you're ready to start. Okay. Okay, Lenny, your turn. Lenny Leeper is the commissioner with out in the Beaver Valley area. Thanks for joining, Lenny. Thanks for giving up your Sunday night. Lenny.
Thanks, Nick. I appreciate it. Just a couple of things, guys, real quick. First of all, I see 314 participants. That's terrific that everybody would take time out of their busy schedules to join. There's been a lot of time and effort put together with these slides and presentations, so it'll be beneficial to everybody. I also encourage the next 3 nights, the different positions, even if it's not your position down the road or down the season, it could be. So it might behoove you to log on and look at the different videos if you have the time. I think by now everybody knows that Brian and I are working pretty closely together to get the games out. We've gotten about 4 weeks out so far and they're coming. A couple things I encourage. If you've seen that your crew has accepted and you have 1 or 2 stragglers that haven't, please get them to accept their game so we can move forward. Excuse me. Also, for the referees, as always, make sure you're contacting the schools at least a week in advance. Copy Brian and I on that. Also, any ejections, we'd like to be copied on those also, so we're not caught off guard or Nick's not caught off guard the next morning. Other than that, if you have questions, please ask them. This is for the benefit of the whole. And again, I thank everybody for logging on, and thanks, Nick, for giving me the time.
You're welcome, Lenny. Okay, last speaker we have is, and he will be conducting the rest of the clinic. Basically, Brian has done very well in the positions he's had for the first 2 years. He is now the 56 commissioner also, along with the 4, 3, 2, and 1. Brian, like I said, Brian's done very, very well in getting tapes out, getting in educational videos out. The meeting we have tonight and the 3 subsequent meetings we have will all be recorded, and I will send the links to your chapter presidents and rules interpreters. So if you want to see the meetings being the recorded meetings, they will be on YouTube, and they'll be under Brian. Brian, correct me if I'm wrong. I think they'll be under your subscription or your YouTube video site once we get these done. So you can view these at any time. So without further ado, Brian, it's yours, and he's going to talk about crew officiating and communications. Again, thank you all. I'll be on till the end. I'm going to mute from now on in unless Brian says something that I need to interrupt, but that won't happen, I don't think. But thank you all for attending, and Brian, it's all yours.
Yeah, we won't be talking about knee pads tonight, Nick, so you don't have to interrupt me.
Okay, let me start off with that.
No, time out. No, we'll handle that another time. Anyways, so before I get into my long-winded discussion of regurgitating something that I've learned from someone else, there's a gentleman that was nice enough to take some of his time to come out and talk, and he's not on the agenda, but we all know and love him. He's probably the best official ever to come out of Western Pennsylvania, and we see him on the TV every Sunday, not critiquing officials, but coaching the general public on how officiating works, and does a really great job of doing that. So Gene Steratore is going to speak a little bit for a few minutes before you hear me talk. So Gene, take it away, please.
Thank you, Brian, and Nick, Vince, everybody that's already been on, Woody, Mike, both Daves, the other Mike. Thanks for giving me a minute here. I am talking to you really from a national platform, and then naturally in a much closer proximity because of where my roots come from. And Mike Jarozinski has kind of alluded, and it was a pretty good segue to what I'd like to talk about for a moment, if I could, and that is the national shortage of officiating. It is at a very, very high level. For the last couple of years, I have worked real close with a lot of organizations around the country to try to enhance the recruitment, and most importantly, also to continue to maintain the retention of officiating around the country. We are experiencing nationally the closest shortage or epidemic style shortage at all levels, with the exception of Division I, that we've ever seen. So for those that are on the screen that are relatively new in the business, thank you so much for your interest in wanting to become a football official or an official of any sport. It means a ton to those of us that have spent our lives in the fraternity. To those that are on this meeting, in a more close sense, that mentored me, believe it or not, thank you for those mentoring years. And for a lot of the faces and names that I see on this screen, that I had the pleasure to work with. Thank you so much for being a member of that fraternity while I was renting my space on the field as well. And those that are just getting into this, understand it's important to understand the WPIAL, the PIAA, but most importantly, the WPIAL and what it stands for nationally, the recognition and the respect that officials from this area of the country get nationally is really not matched in any other area. And I mean that humbly, and not just because I'm from Western PA. And the reason that it is respected nationally at such a high level is directly related to the members that are on this call right now, administratively and actively. The young officials, you have the luxury of being around the best group of high school football officials in the United States. The best in every way, shape, or form. Preparation, how you deal with your communications and how you learn, but mostly and most importantly, the fraternity of giving back to this game that we enjoy. That is the most important part of officiating. When you live a full career, you do learn to appreciate the value of what it means to earn your own success, and you celebrate that with the people that sacrificed in your life to get you that. But to give back to the fraternity that was so good to you is the greatest of all the gifts. So for all of you young officials, please, please, please pay such close attention to how the veterans on your crew, how the veterans in your room, how the rules interpreters, the people that do give a lot of voluntary time to make you as good as you can possibly be, please take their advice as much as you possibly can. Those experiences and that type of education and mentoring is second to nothing that you will ever get at any level. It does start here, and the foundations that are here are the best foundations to build upon. So with that, I congratulate everybody on here. I'm humbled to be somebody that has participated in the WPIAL and PIAA for 4 decades. And I know there are those on this actual Zoom that beat me by a decade and a half even. And I will tell you, the ones I can see, you look really good and young. Or my vision's a little bit difficult right now, as we all know, so I may be lying. But so in that sense, I would challenge all of you as officials. Again, Mike was a perfect segue, and what Lenny had said as well. There's 300 plus people on this. It speaks volumes of your interest in this. Because they're voluntary meetings, quote unquote voluntary meetings, but you're involved, and it still is July for another 10 hours, and that speaks volumes. Focus on things that make you a better official every time you go out, regardless of the level of the game. You will find something in every game you officiate. As long as you are working, you will gain something out of that game if you're really, really focusing on your craft, and then collectively as what you can do better as a crew. So it's very valuable every night you go out. Just don't go out to get the check. And I think most importantly, really from the game standpoint, please understand that 90+% of these athletes in high school will never participate in another organized sporting event once they graduate high school. A very small percentage go to play at the college level. So you really are involved in something that is extremely unique and special in their lives, in their families' lives. We know with that comes biased emotional outbursts and things of that nature because of that. That's what makes officiating so great, is the awareness of the environment that you are in. And to be part of that and to contribute to that from an officiating lens in these games is it will become a much greater level of importance for you as you continue to become more aware to each game that you get the pleasure to ref. So from the game standpoint, it's invaluable. From what you can gather and your personal gain in life, from what you will learn from your crew and your own imperfections in this, it's a very humbling and great thing to be part of. And not to get further in the weeds, because I'm sure there are hours of video and training that you guys all have the luxury of getting that we did not. And sometimes that's great and sometimes that isn't so great. But I will say the tools that you have to really hone your craft are there. The ability to kind of absorb all of these things and realize how little specifics of each play in each position that you handle as an official and how you get yourself to that position or work through those 4 seconds of each play are very, very difficult to manage. But identifying a play and then identifying that play in that first second and then realizing where your eyes and muscle memory need to go based on your position as that play evolves in seconds is the craft of officiating. The fouls will jump out at you if you run through your play progression based on the play that's being presented to you and where your eyes should go based on how that play evolves. So I would challenge all of you to recognize those situations as it relates to your position and how you progress through each play, depending on what type of play it is, how you interact with those officials that are overlapping that play with you is another evaluation you should be able to do on a play-by-play level. And then really for the youngest officials, I think the level of importance and the amount of going through proper progressions of what you have to do between each play for 15 seconds of downtime and doing that in a very structured way so that you are check boxing everything you need to do between plays will allow the game to slow down and you'll feel much more in control of that 4 seconds of madness that happens every 20 seconds between each play. So I welcome all of you to another year of football. For those that are interested in the college level, I still am extremely active in that. We are always looking for young officials. For those now, because of the shortage, and understand that part of officiating and being aware is accepting the reality. Many of you are moving up the ladder rather quickly as it relates to officiating experience and progression because of a shortage. That can be either a blessing or it can be a very dangerous curse. So don't take the upward movement and early gaining of games of high levels as something that is to be expected. I'm not saying any of you are getting those games because there is a shortage, but the reality is there's a shortage. So many are gaining opportunities because of that. Be humble enough to know how much you have to study to work those games and take advantage of a situation that allows you to be in a real good place if you really hone your craft very well right now. There are great opportunities for that. So with that, I'll allow you guys to get back to the real fun stuff of going through all of these football progressions. And I'm going to get rid of my screen. It's great to see some great faces. And as always, now that I am really retired, but don't tell anybody on the network that, I'm available many times now for much more bullshit than I do on my 12 seconds of TV. So thanks, Brian. Thank you, Nick, and everyone else, and have a wonderful year and stay healthy.
Gene, thank you for your time.
Thanks, Gino. Okay, let me start by sharing my screen.
Nick, can you stop sharing yours?
All right, Bill, is a play or is there a play up on the screen? Just so I have it.
Sure is.
All right. All right. So tonight we're going to spend and I'm going to first apologize to everyone. So I spent, you know, I like to make videos. As you saw on the YouTube channel, I've made videos the past couple of years, and I focus too much on stuff such as holding and blocks in the back and whatnot. And what we really should be focusing on is mechanics. And a lot of you might seem to think like, well, I know where I'm supposed to stand, or I know where I'm supposed to look. I think as Gene alluded to, we have people on our crew that may not understand this, and it's something that we're going to start back at the basics for this clinic, and we're going to start tonight. We're going to do, and why I asked Nick to have everyone on was because we're going to go over, penalty enforcement. And we're going to go over a little bit penalty enforcement, a couple plays where we may need to talk to each other as a crew to get it right. And at the end, we're going to go through the most important 4 minutes of the game, 2 minutes of the end of the half, and the 2 minutes of the end of the game, because we can work a game great for 44 minutes, but if we don't handle those last 4 minutes or 2 minutes of the game and 2 minutes of the half, then it doesn't matter how good we did the rest of the time. You know, it's not going to bode well for us. And a lot of how we handle a game is the aesthetics around the game, such as referee announcements, how we move on the field, how we put away easy penalties. Okay. So everybody has a job to do on penalty enforcement. I remember back when I started officiating, you would report your foul to the referee, and your referee would then tell the umpire where the flag was, where the end of the run was, and then tell where the enforcement spot is. Now, this is where you have to challenge your whole crew to know the rules of the game. You know, where the easier ones are the fouls that occur at the snap, because the only spot we can go from is the spot where the ball is right there for all the dead ball fouls. Now it gets a little bit more tricky when you start to add in hold, block in the backs, PSK fouls or whatnot. But so as a new official, you should, if you're a deep wing, field judge, side judge, understand the fouls that will occur that you will throw. Offense and defensive pass interference, blocks in the backs, holding. Okay, don't try to swallow the whole rule book in your first 2 years. Swallow what you can so you can be helpful to your crew. So we're going to go around the horn and we're going to talk about what each of the responsibilities are for penalty enforcement. So the referee has the easy job. They flip on the mic and they talk. Okay. And if you're a good official, and as you get more seasoned, I'll say, you can actually tell the referee what to announce. If we have a holding foul, holding offense, number 53, the penalty will be forced at the spot of the foul, replay first down. That way, the referee just flicks on the mic and announces that. Head linesman, you and the umpire are going to work hand in hand to march off the foul. Okay, I see, there's many different ways of doing it. I've seen umpires use the figures 1, 2, and 3. 1 meaning a 5-yard, 2 meaning a 10-yard, and 3 meaning a 15-yard foul. Now, if you have the half the distance, you can use hand signals, or whatnot, however you decide and your crew works it. It's a crew dependent thing. And before I get any further, Dave, I have to give Dave Blair a shout out because he really keeps me straight with all these rules. So if and when I do screw up a rule today, please feel free to pop on and let me know where I screwed up. The line judge holds the enforcement spot. Okay, and the line judge is integral to making sure the referee has a correct announcement. Because as the referee who faces the press box makes the announcement, I work line judge. So I would always keep myself between the referee's eyes and where they were looking, because if the referee forgot the down, I had the down next to my chest. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that way the referee only had to shift his or her eyes down to me to look at the down. If you have a multiple foul situation and a referee forgets a number, line judge, you can keep that number in your head. And when he goes holding offense number, you go 53, 53. This all adds to the aesthetics of the game. It makes everyone, the coaches, the players, the fans know that you guys and gals know what you're doing to enforce penalties. Field judge, side judge, guess what? You have a job too. Field judge, you should know the play clock, okay? Because there's a difference this year in play clock fouls and settings. Because if it's a foul by the defense, the play clock's going to 40. If there's a foul by the offense, that play clock's going to 25. We can't just make an assumption that the play clock operator is going to understand that. We all know that there are situations where they fall asleep up there, or maybe they didn't come to your pregame meeting to hear you explain whether or not there's a new rule on the play clock. Side judge, you should, when the referee's done with his or her announcement, referee should look to the side judge and you should be giving a wind or a snap. let the referee know the status of the play to wind the clock or to start the next play on the snap. Now we get into a little bit more tricky situations, which we'll talk about later whenever we have under 2-minute fouls and where the offended team has a choice. So we're going to show a play here and we're going to walk through it. And we're going to have a play where we have a pass interference at the bottom of the screen here. And it's actually a really good call by the field judge in this situation because they stretch outside of their, it's a difficult call, pass down the middle, and he gets in there early. Okay. And then you come and see the flag come flying in. So the first thing the field judge does is you'll see the field judge will come in, run in, pick up the flag and move it to the correct spot. Okay, maybe he's off a couple of yards, but if I'm not mistaken, DPI is not we don't have to worry about spots of defensive pass interference. Here, it's always a 15-yard penalty unless we get to a certain situation where it's a half the distance situation. So if you throw a flag, the first thing you should do is after the play is over, complete the play. In this case, the field judge then signaled incomplete because the pass was incomplete after throwing the flag. They completed the play. He then comes in, gets his flag and moves it to a better spot. And then watch what he does. He gives a preliminary signal, okay? That way, everybody in the entire stadium understands what's going on here. Preliminary signal, pass interference, defense, okay? So then the PA announcer, Trib Live, Westmoreland Sports Network, they all see this and they start to say, oh, we have defensive pass interference, and they go start talking about that, okay, instead of what do you think they have? Because if this official doesn't throw a flag, they can make a guess. They're probably going to be right in this situation, but this gives them for about the next 20 seconds something to talk about on this play rather than the officials are huddling. So the official gives a preliminary signal. And when you do throw a flag and when the play ends, give a tweet, blow your whistle in a manner that everybody knows that you have a flag. So then your referee then turns to you and thinks there's something going on, run towards the referee. Referee, you should then be moving to a space, jogging to where you can see this official. Because once he gives you the pass interference defense, then he can either give you the old basketball 23 or however it works, or gets on the 0-2-0 and says 23, which goes to everyone, because the offended coach right now is the coach that their foul's on wanting to know the number. So you go 23 defensive pass interference. The umpire should hear this, know it's an incomplete pass, and walk to the previous spot. So here we have a situation where we are talking. We had a preliminary. We should know the enforcement. It's an incomplete pass. Very easy situation where then we could turn on the mic and say pass interference, defense, whatever the number is, that penalty results in a first down. Now, I understand if there's certain situations, it's not an automatic first down here in high school. So just be sure, and that's where the line judge could then get involved and get involved with whether or not it's a first down and whether or not what is the down, if that's correct. So next play, we're going to look at a running play. Okay, so let's talk about situational awareness right now. I'm not sure what the down is, but we're snapping from about the 44-yard line here, and the line to gain is the 45. Okay. So as a line judge or a head linesman, we're going to be putting those situations as we mature as official. We know we can put in lines to gain to our head. So we know we need a yard for the first down. So we have a play where we have a running play to the outside, or excuse me, a pass, which now turns into a run. So we still know the line to gain is right, the 45-yard line right here. They get the line to gain, and then we have a hold on the edge. And you'll see the flag come in right here. I'll back up a little bit further so everyone can see it. The flag comes in right here, and I'll rewind it back even further to show you the hold. And actually it's a really, really good call by the umpire here. The umpire just didn't watch the runner. He turned and looked and saw the hold. I believe it's right here. So this is a situation. So the runner made the line to gain. Okay, so we've all watched football and we all understand how football works in this situation. The line to gain was made. We had a hold. There is no situation where the offense is not going to accept this foul. Okay, so we just, as long as the umpire moves the flag into the correct spot, we don't have anything to worry about here. So we should, right there's the foul. The way we would like to see this worked is the umpire just gives a preliminary with a hold, points to the offense, and then says the number. Okay, gets the ball, runs to the spot, makes eye contact with the head linesman and gives them the 2 finger, meaning we're going 10 yards from this spot. As long as you communicated the foul and the number to the referees, I know this is a difficult transition that we're working through here. And I think Timmy Barker's on here to talk about a little bit from a referee's perspective. But Tim, how do you handle, if you're on situations like this, to get your crew to just give you the information and turn and talk?
Yeah, Brian, it was a transition for me because coming from high school, it was that old adage that you had to be involved. So it took getting yelled at a couple times in scrimmages and situations, just stand back and wait to be brought in. So that's what I challenged my crew was, I'm going to stand back mainly so I can save my steps, but really I'd stay back so I can oversee everything, make sure, you know, administratively everyone's separated, and then let them work through whatever they have. Once they come to the conclusion and communicate with each other and I get all the information with the preliminary and the number, then I look for communication from the sideline if I feel there's a decision to be made, because 9 times out of 10 I'm making that decision. And I really challenge them. They have to be the ones that are owning the penalty enforcement. Like you noted earlier, all we do is we're the best looking guys on the crew. So we stand back and we use our good looks and charisma to sell whatever they just called. But they're really the ones doing all the work in that situation.
Yeah, and Tim, the best penalty enforcement, and when you get your crew really humming with penalty enforcement, as the referee turns and is giving the announcement, the crew is marching the penalty off behind him or her. So then that makes it look like, so once the referee's done with the penalty announcement, the umpire puts the ball down, looks to the side judge. In this case, the side judge should be giving the wine because we had a runner down in bounds and we had a foul by the offense. So the field judge should be verifying that the play clock is going to 25. And, you know, that's where the referee backpedals out to his or her position, makes eye contact with everyone that they're in the right position, chops and whines, and we get going. Because, you know, as we keep this going and as we get a rhythm to the game, if we can dictate the rhythm, then the kids and the coaches will adapt to our rhythm. Okay, we are the ones who are in control of that during the game. We should not allow and this is where I love the fact that we've moved to the 40-second play clock, because we are the dictators of that rhythm. Even on first downs, in bounds, outside of 2 minutes, once the umpire gets the ball in his or her hands, the referee should be winding the clock, because it'll get the coaches out of our hair and get them into coaching. Because as long as that clock is moving, whether it's the play clock and the game clock, they don't want to waste precious seconds. So they're going to be calling plays. They're going to be being involved with the defense. So it's really good for us to practice that. And one other thing I want to urge the crews to do, and you know, we're using technology right now with Zoom. Okay, I've worked with Joe Kulik, and I've seen how many pieces of paper he stuck around the locker room for a pregame. Okay, there's not one person I know that's more prepared than him for a pregame. but we can have our pre-games on Thursday nights or Wednesday nights via Zoom. There's nothing that says we have to have them on a Friday night, okay? Because what happens is we get in traffic or somebody gets out of work late, and then what suffers is our pregame, okay? Have a few plays from the week before. I mean, don't sit and argue about holds or blocks in the back, but situations, not just singular calls that we as a crew could do a better job. So the next one we're going to look at is and this is just so we have a play where defense jumps in the neutral zone and we have a flag. Okay, and I think I'm a broken record when I say this, but I'm going to say it again. We have the flag in the air by the line of scrimmage official. We need to hustle back to our referee, making the preliminary announcement, and then getting on the 020 with our number. Now, as you notice, the umpire didn't throw a flag because umpires, and we'll get this more tomorrow, umpires, they only throw a flag when the offense moves. So we have a singular flag by a line of scrimmage official, I think, or two on both sides. We don't have to worry or have a conference. So just run in, give your preliminary. The umpire should be running to the ball because the last thing we need is somebody to make contact and them to have shoving. So the umpire come in. The foul's on the defense, field judge. Play clock's at 40. Side judge, whatever the result of the previous play was, we're going to go from. Okay.
Brian,
so
field judge has game clock, side judge has play clock.
Okay, so I got them backwards. Thanks.
That's okay.
So side judge, side judge, play clock, 40. Field judge, referee, look to the field judge, whether we have a clock or a wind after the play. One thing I do want us to get away from is this dead ball signal. Okay. This dead ball signal, I know in the past it was used for false starts and offside. Okay. The dead ball signal now should only be used for personal fouls or unsportsmanlike fouls that occur after the play. It is really apparent to everyone that a false start or defensive offside is a dead ball foul. Okay. And I think Dave Blair's on, he can correct me if I'm wrong, but we've had this conversation earlier. I just want to get away from that because what the goal we're trying to do with this clinic is to get everyone uniform. Okay. So whenever
Brian, I'll jump in and I agree with you, Brian. It's everybody in the football world, everyone that watches football understands that a false start or a encroachment at the high school level is a dead ball foul. So I agree with you 100%.
Thanks, there's also, I'm going to chime in. There's also no need to preface before the snap.
Right.
Because clearly the snap hasn't happened.
Correct, Tim, and we'll get into referee announcement tomorrow a little bit, but yeah, it's just click on the mic. Offside defense, number 53, 5-yard penalty, first down or second down. It's cleaner. We move a little bit quicker. But the reason.
Can I ask you a question real quick, Brian?
Sure.
Could in this situation, you said there's two flags down, could both line of scrimmage officials jog halfway to the referee and talk about what they have on the 020, or do you, when it's not as obvious?
The preliminary gives everybody a sense of what happens. I don't mind. Okay. I don't mind if they do it after the preliminary, but I don't want us to solely rely on 020s. You know, they're great tools. But what happens if you can't hear or somebody's battery's dead? I don't think we should supplement our mechanics with the 020. We shouldn't override our mechanics with the 020. So, you know, give the preliminary. Then if you want to get on the 020 and say offside 98 defense, that way the entire crew hears this. And then the person on the other side can then relay that information to the coach if needed. But we shouldn't just throw the flag, kill the clock, and then hit the button right away and say it. It gives the preliminary signal gives an ease to not only the coaches, the fans, but you know, with a lot of our games now being on TV, on the radio, it just gives them something to talk about too. And listen, if the as you go through this and the games play out better on TV, I'm telling you, there'll be less complaints for them to go through on that.
Hey, Brian, this is Bill Heitkamp.
Yes,
Hey,
Bill.
On that situation, when you have both line of scrimmage officials having a flag, typically they come together to the middle of the field to make sure they both have the same thing before they report anything to the referee. So I'm just saying that, sometimes it's very obvious. Other times it may not be, because you may have people coming across the line and also somebody false starting at the same time. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and you're right, Bill. It's not none of this is an absolute. Just like mechanics in general, I can't tell you the specific recipe to officiate every play in every game. We're all, as we get more games under our belt, we'll understand these situations. And to Bill's point, exactly, multiple flags kind of make a little bit of eye contact, but we want to make sure. Yes, that is a good point. So let's start looking at let's go next to the next play. We have a kickoff. Okay. And kickoffs are just ending up to be, once the ball is possessed, they're just one big running play. Okay. So if there's a block in the back, or if there's a hold, if it's behind the run, it's pretty easy enforcement. If it's ahead of the run, we go to the end of the run. It's not very difficult to enforce, but in this situation, we have a kick out of bounds. Okay, so I'm not going to pretend I remember where the kick out of bounds goes for you all, but I think it goes, 20 yards from the kickoff spot?
25 yards.
25 yards.
25 yards. So they get two choices, right? They can re-kick 5 back, or they can take it 25 yards from the spot of the kick, correct?
Or they can accept it where it went out of bounds.
Or they can accept it where it goes out of bounds. So,
Or tack on the 5 yards.
Tack
They can
on
tack
5
on
from
the.
they can
5
tack
from-
on now. See, you
Yep.
all are, you're educating me here, right? So, so in this situation, we have the ball going out at the 20-yard line. So, 99 times out of 100, I'm guessing they're going to take it 25 yards from where it was kicked. And this is just a crew awareness thing. If you see the ball go out of bounds, and I can't remember which situation. So the team that is on offense, their bench is up here. Okay, so you see the ball go out of bounds, and you're up here, and you're a side judge, you're a side judge. You should run right to the coach and say, "Coach, I'm guessing you won it 25 yards from where the ball went out of bounds." Correct? Yes. Get on the 020 and say 25 yards from when the ball was kicked. We're going to go there. That way the referee knows that situation, can get on the mic and say, free kick out of bounds. The ball will be placed at the whatever yard line. Okay. What we don't want to happen is we don't want to leave the referee hanging. Okay. Because we can't. Because what happens is the referee's looking for this answer. And my suggestion for referees is just jog up the field and just stop. Tim, do you want to give a little bit more information on how do you handle KOBs, just so that everyone can understand?
Yeah, so typically we know what the foul is. You pause, you get up. I always go to about the 20-25 yard line, because that's probably where I'll end up standing anyhow. And I'll pause and wait to collect the information as I watch the players clear the field. And again, wait for all the information to come through, because this is an announcement we should only have to make one time, and we don't need to click on with any corrections. Obviously, if a coach would change their mind, that's out of our control. But just take your time and swiftly let the crew handle their enforcement procedure and reporting the foul. And then you go right ahead with the announcement, like Brian said, and put yourself in the position where you're going to be for that next play, assuming that they do take that 25-yard option.
So I want to answer from an umpire. Tell me, so the ball went out of bounds at the bottom of the screen, if I'm not correct. What if the coach asked to put it at the middle of the field, umpires? What are you going to tell them?
No.
Exactly, right? You chuckle when I say stuff like that, but I've seen it happen. I've had umpires that I've worked with want to, oh, what hash we putting on it? There is no choice for a hash. It's where it went out of bounds. It's not like a touchback where they have a decision to make. Okay. And the crew is the one who makes the referee look good. I don't care what you pretty boys and girls referees say. Our explanation to the crew helps the referee. The better we are, because they have no idea what just happened. They may be looking at somebody coming running down the field and two players are entangled, and all of a sudden they hear a whistle and a flag's up in the air, and they have no idea what just happened. Don't leave your referee hanging. Okay. So next play, and I want you to watch the way this crew does a penalty enforcement. So we have another hold, and you'll see it right here on this player right here. Number 51 gets held coming up through the middle right there. You see the flag come in, right? So we have a hold, and the line of scrimmage is irrelevant here because if I'm not mistaken, it's where the flag is. You can march penalties off from the line of scrimmage. So you have a hold behind the end of the run. So watch how this crew handles this. So we have a referee in the announcement. Watch we have somebody on the flag spot, and then watch the umpire. 2, start marching it off. Referee's done. They're almost ready to put the ball down. This is what we all should strive to be as far as efficient penalty enforcement. It looks really good, and it just keeps, like I said, it keeps the game flowing. All right,
Hey,
we're gonna do it. Well, yes.
Just one quick question on extra points. Do the teams have the option of which hash they want the ball placed on?
Yeah, just as long, and if I'm not mistaken, just as long as there's not a penalty by the offense. So if they false start, they cannot move the ball again. They have to leave it from where it is.
Okay, thank you.
All right, next play. Kickoff. We talked about where the penalty enforcement would be on a kickoff. So we have a catch, running upfield. Now it's a running play. And we have a flag that gets thrown, I believe, right there on the 30-yard line. And then the runner gets tackled out of bounds. So we know no matter what's going to happen here, the kicking team's going to want to take this hold. Okay. So we have to, I guess this would be the field judge, we have to not immediately run to our flag, but we have to officiate. We have people of a different color jersey in the bench so we have to clear that first. After we clear that, we would come out here, make sure our flag's in the right place, give our preliminary signal, hold back. By that time, then we give the number through the referee to the 020, holding number, whatever, return team. But the penalty will be enforced at the spot of the foul. Umpires, you don't need a ball at this situation. Run to the flag, march your 10 yards off, then wait for the ball to come from the line judge's side to put it down. And then, in this situation, the field judge would know the game clock is on the snap. The side judge would know the play clock goes to 25. Everybody would be verifying that. And these, even if you're a new official as a field judge or side judge, I urge you to just be aware of those situations. Now, whenever you get, and that becomes second nature, then become the second penalty enforcer in your head. Look at the flag and understand where that enforcement's going to be. It was at the 30 here. We should be next snapping at the 20-yard line. If that doesn't happen, don't be afraid to come in and question. Okay. And that's where Gene spoke a little bit about it, of the mentorship of the veteran officials. But I urge veterans, even if a newer official would question this, stop the game and come in and say, you know what, I don't understand why shouldn't we be at the 22, not the 20. Don't immediately dismiss them, because you never know when they're going to save the crew. Just say, no, flag was at the 30. We marched off to the 20, we're good to go. Give them that reassurance. But then in the locker room afterwards, say, hey, I appreciate you, bringing that up, because you never know when they're going to come with you with information on downs or a penalty enforcement situation that's going to help you out a lot. So here we go. So Tim will talk about more. Referee, stop. Stay still the entire time. Don't back out. Okay, just keep still whenever you're announcing penalties. Signal first down, turn the mic off, then get back and jog back to your position. Okay, next we're going to move into maybe some more complicated situations, and probably if you have watched the video on defensive line movements, if you haven't, I urge you to, because it's creeping into more and more schools. There was a couple particular schools that like to do some interesting things with their defensive linemen, and football is just a copycat thing. And what I don't want happening is this spreading out, and I've already talked to some of the teams about this, and that's why I put the video out. But here's a situation I think illustrates wherever we have movement by the defensive line, and then we have a false start. Okay, so we have a flag, not only by the umpire, but we have it by the line of scrimmage official. Now, this is a situation, to Bill Heidecamp's point earlier, that before we give a preliminary signal, wing officials, once you see the umpire, hustle back here, umpire, hustle into the backfield and have a discussion, because maybe the umpire had something where the defense did a non-football act to get the offense to jump. What we don't want to do is give a preliminary, have a discussion, and then have to change it. So wings, whenever you see a flag thrown by the umpire, in addition to you, meet them in the backfield. And referee, just stand back there and wait. Don't get involved with the discussion. Unless you have something to bring to the table. Let the two officials talk it over who threw the flags. And if it's three, if this official has it, let them talk it out, and then one of them come to you and communicate what you have, and then get back and enforce the penalty. Okay, we're gonna couple interesting plays here, and again, it's all about like talking about this before the play. I watched this play and I thought to myself, I wonder how many people thought this. So we have a pitch forward, but I'll rewind it back and I'll play it slowly. So the quarterback catches it and then pitches it forward. What if the ball hits the ground? What do we have?
Dead ball, incomplete pass.
Exactly. And this is, we have to be aware of these situations, because the offense is running this play purposely, because if they drop it, they don't have to worry about it being a fumble. So again, referees can have a say on this. Line of scrimmage officials can have a say on it. If an umpire sees it, they can also have a say on what happens here. And it's perfectly okay if the ball hits the ground and the defense recovers, for you to have a crew discussion on this. Hey, it was a pitch forward, Then the referee just flicks on the mic and says, the ruling on the field is an incomplete pass, second down. It's just as simple as doing that. If you're not sure, let the play out a little bit. Let there be a recovery. You can always fix the play at the end. Okay, I know, and you all have a very difficult job, because some of us have it easy because we have an eye in the sky to fix all this stuff. You don't. You just have the eye in the sky to criticize you when you get to see this play one time, and they can rewind it back 50 times. Okay, so if for instance, if you let the ball hit the ground and you're unsure, and after a discussion, you can always put the ball back. Okay, this is why headlinesmen, it's very important not to have a proper discussion with your chain crew so that they do not move the chains. Because if they stay still after your discussion, then you have your spot. You don't have to worry about, did the chains move? What down is it? Don't, I've been there. Every head linesman who has been here has heard, I've been doing this for 30 years. Well, that's great. You thank them for being an integral part of your crew, because that's what they are, because they can really screw your game up. However, they will not receive any of the blame if it does get screwed up by them shifting the box, them moving the chains. Thank them for being a part of the crew. Include them as part of the crew. But say, I have a few ground rules that, I need the reassurance that you're not going to change the box until I turn around and signal, give you second down, or give you third down, or I give you a fourth down. I really need that because, and line judge, if you notice that the box person is moving too quickly, get on the 020, talk to your head linesman. I mean, I talk to the box man every down I'm on that sideline, second down. And then, if you get a good relationship with them and ask them, don't move until we march the penalty off and the umpire puts the ball in the ground. Just make them, and if you make them feel like they're part of the crew, they're going to feel like they are part of the crew and follow your directions better. Nobody likes to be barked at or told what to do, but if you include them in part of your discussion and during timeouts, whether it's radio or you're working a Trib Live game and there's commercials, and you talk to them, ask them about them, make them feel like they are part of the crew. I ask them, hey, how bad am I doing today? They'll tell you, and you can joke around, but they are just as much as the play in the game clock. Those stick people are very important to our game. Okay, fumble mechanics. Again, very simple thing to do. And this goes back to our old school adage where we would always let the referee tell us, but be the referee signal. What we want to do is if we see a fumble like we do here, and the ball's laying on the ground, right? And then the defense picks it up. No, I'm sorry, the offense picks it up, right? So we have the offense with the ball here. The referee's doing a great job digging. Line of scrimmage officials coming in here digging. What we don't need is we don't need 6 people digging in the pile. The field judge, side judge should be watching the area around. Ooh, excuse me. Let me share my screen again. The field judge and the side judge should be watching so that nothing happens around the pile. We have 2 people digging. If we have the umpire, I know the umpires like to get dirty, but what happens here is the player comes out of the ball and they give it to the line judge. Well, line judge, just signal right here, first down, okay? Because the referee doesn't see the ball. So he or she doesn't understand what's going on, or he's still looking for the ball. Hey, Brian, we got the ball. It's first down return team. Okay. But you've already signaled. So everybody in the entire place knows what's going on. Okay. We don't need to then relay that information to the referee and then the referee signal. Again, just minor little things here. And I can show you right here how it plays out a little bit better. We have a fumble recovered by the defense, and right away we have 2 people signaling, right? It's obvious to everyone. What we don't want to do is wait for the referee to come up, tell the referee turns and then signals. All right, last thing before our 2-minute drill. Okay, line to gain, and how, look, we have 4th down. They're not kicking the field goal. They got to get to if I look at the chains right, they got to get to the 5-yard line. So we got a big line here. So the quarterback rolls and gets tackled at I think at the 6-yard line, real close to the line of the game. I mean, if you look at this, the runner's down here, right about the 5.5-yard line. So the line judge does a really good job coming down here. But what I'm going to say is stop right here. Get the ball, put your foot down, and call for the ball from the field judge. And if the field judge doesn't give it to you, don't move from this spot. Because what happens now is if we have to go around players, then we lose perspective of that spot here. Okay. So what the line judge does here is runs in trying to chase down the ball, and then the umpire finally gives them the ball, and then we put the ball down. Okay.
And if you have to measure, you've moved the ball.
Correct. So just stay on that spot down here. And if they don't make the umpire, make the deep wing come to you to put the ball down. I'm going to give you, I'm going to let Tim share a little situation that happened to him earlier this year, because you don't want to leave the ball. Tim?
Yeah, it was a tight game late in the second quarter, and the team that was ahead by 3 points was near first down. The line judge did exactly this. He ran all the way to the numbers and lost perspective of a spot and couldn't tell me confidently if he had a first down or not. So the umpire and I decided to measure. And as I turn around, I say on the O2O, we're going to measure. I turn around and I click on the mic and I announce, we officials timeout for a measurement. As I'm turning around, it was like slow motion. The umpire goes and walks over for the first down stake. And the back judge, who in 7-man is responsible for holding the ball, isn't there, and the ball rolls away. And now we've lost our spot. So we had to put the ball back and make it 4th down. And it just was a simple situation that if the line judge was controlled, came up and stopped at their spot, called for the ball and put it down, they would have been able to say right here, 4th down or first down, instead of prolonging it and coming in and bringing us to a situation that was very unfavorable for us.
And Tim, you could have worked a perfect game before and after that situation, but the only thing they remember is that, right?
And that was pretty much the case.
And that's why we're sitting here talking about the little details as far as penalty enforcement, putting the ball down, don't leave the ball, because a lot of these places have turf, and if the wind's blowing, the wind can blow the ball. I know a certain person who accidentally kicked the ball. Okay. So it's these little things all go into our, we don't get practice. We watch film a lot on holds, DPIs, OPI, blocks in the backs, but do we really, how much time do we spend on penalty enforcement? How much time do we spend on situations like, okay, we're close to the line of the game? And, if you're confident as a wing official that no, they did it, if you started on a big line and you didn't get to the big line, unless it's a critical part of the game, tell the referee that they're short of the line of the game. Okay. But if you measure here, and I'll share an experience after I say what I'm about to say. If you measure here and you started on the 15-yard line with the nose of the 15 and the chains are off by a little bit, and all of a sudden you get a first down when they're short of the 5, you have to live with what you get. Okay. Because my situation when I had a touchback, placed the ball on the 20. Next play, we had a DPI. We moved the ball to the 35. We measured with the ball short of the 45, and the chains gave it a first down. Don't know how it happened. Didn't realize it happened until the next day. But again, awareness of these situations and understanding where you are on the field, more often or not, the chains are not very good indicators of 10 yards. Okay.
Brian, I have a question on this. If you measured here, did not make the line to gain, you have to remember to set the chains. You're not moving the ball up to that initial yard line, are you? You're leaving the ball where it was and setting the chains accordingly?
Correct. You're setting the chains accordingly. Yeah, we're not going to move the ball up a tick, or you don't want to mess around in those situations. We like to start we like to be as close as possible to starting on a tick. You know, sometimes I'm guilty of doing it too much. But you know, if we have a punt or if we have a kickoff, unless the ball gets down inside the 5-yard line, get it on a tick, whether it's a big line or, you know, 21, 22, 23, it allows us nice and easy to freshly start it. But once we start getting inside the 5, we can't mess with that because those are precious yardage to the offense and to the defense in those situations. So, you know, we have to play it where it lies. You know, we can't be using our foot wedge to move it up a little bit or not. Does that
Thank
answer
you.
your question, Darren?
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that.
No problem. Okay, so I think, is this the last play? Oh, I just wanted to show another play where, so, and we'll talk about this earlier. Talk with our stick people. Is it really necessary for them? You know, we want to make sure that they're backing out of our way. I think that the side judge here is in great position deep, but I want you to watch this play and watch what happens here, because it's not always apparent that the person closest is the person that is able to rule on this situation. Because if we look at right here where the runner gets hit right on the goal line and the ball pops out, it looks like it's on the you know, middle of the field to the more towards the side judge's side of the field. But if we look at the way this play ends, the side judge is blocked out and the field judge does a wonderful job right here of coming in and selling the play. So this is, to my point earlier, comes in with a touchdown. To my point earlier, if you're a newer official, don't just assume that the ball is on the other person's hash, that I don't have the best look. On goal line situations, whether you're a field judge, side judge, or a head linesman or a line judge, sometimes the ball opens up to the person furthest away. Now, this is where we let ourselves relax. If that person doesn't make the call, then we come in like this field judge does in this situation and go up with a touchdown. Because what we don't want happening is the ball to be rolling around on the floor or on the turf, and we don't have a situation here of knowing what happens, because it just wouldn't look good for the crew. All right, so last little bit before we let you go, I wanted to do a 2-minute situation because as I talked earlier, so we have 2 minutes and 28 seconds to go in the first half. If I'm not mistaken, the new rule tells us that any foul by the defense, we put the play clock to 40 seconds. And then any foul by the offended team, any foul, the offended team has the option to put the ball at the snap. So this is when we have to get a little bit more game awareness around the crew. So once we get under 2 minutes, we have to talk about, you know, our crew. There's a rule in college, we call it 3-4-3. We get on the 0-2-0. You all can do this here. Get on the 0-2-0 and we go under 2 minutes. Be aware with penalties. Okay, and don't always assume that the offended team wants to take it on the snap, because they may be trying to run the clock out. So let's look at this situation. So we have 2nd and 8. We know the line to gain here is the looks like the 6-yard line. Again, we'll go over this later. Look at the position of the side judges at the top. Perfect position, because then if he or she moves back, they can still look at that end line here. Okay, and work. And I'll tell you this right now, you will be able to judge this out of bounds just as well right here as you are right here. And not only that, your line judge or head linesman will also be looking down that line. So this is where we use our eye contact. If we have a close catch by the sideline, don't always go up quick. Take a look at your official up the field. So 228, we have a pass, caught, tackled, down in bounds. Okay, so the mechanics of this official should be to wind, okay, because it is close enough to the sideline because the offense is on the other side of the field. So make it apparent to everyone in the stadium that the runner was tackled inbounds and wind, okay? You can even get on the 0-2-0 and say down in bounds, okay? That way, if the head linesman at the top wants to look at the coach and say, we're winding, but we're down in bounds. So the next play will move on. So the clock is running at 1:33. So we're under 2 minutes here. So if we have a foul by the defense and the runner gets down in bounds, the offense has the choice to start the clock on the snap. So these are all things we should be thinking about, because we don't want to be surprised. And it's not just one person doesn't just own this. The field judge owns the game clock, but is the responsibility of all 6 officials on the field to know clock status and to know these rules. Okay, so here's a situation, and we're looking at it here. He's going to get set. Now we go in motion. We're okay. Pass out. Now, was that forward or backwards? Looks to be backwards to me. Okay, don't be surprised. We should have a punch by the bottom official, because if the ball is dropped, then we should understand that it's a live ball in that situation. Backwards pass. Can they throw it? Yes, they can, because it's a backwards pass. Can the referee tell me does that player get protection for roughing the passer?
Yes.
Yes, right? So again, something else to know. Okay, the passer relinquished the ball. Does he get yes, he does get roughing the passer privileges. I'm not going to claim to know this answer. Now that he's outside the tackle box, can he throw the ball away across the line of scrimmage legally?
Yes.
New rule, yes.
So there you go. It doesn't just have to be the quarterback, or it doesn't just have to be the person who controls the snap. So those who work Friday and Saturday understand the difference between the two, because I just learned it. That person can still ground the ball legally just by throwing the ball across the line of scrimmage. Okay. Keep those situations in mind. Now we have a pass. End of the screen. I talked about this earlier. Side judge leaves, goes, and can officiate. You don't have to get the whole way to the end line, because you can officiate the end line just as good around here as you can from back here. Pass interference, early contact, right? Good flag. Killing the clock. The official finished the play. So what the other officials should do should be immediately looking to the game clock, because we have an incomplete pass. Let's make sure that game clock operator hasn't already checked out the barbecue at halftime and has stopped the clock, because every second is precious here. Okay. Just because the play didn't come to your side of the field doesn't give you an opportunity to relax or take the play off. So side judge here kills the clock. Look, preliminary signal. I'll go back to it real quick. Preliminary signal. It's probably going to point. Okay, so it's on the defense. So what's the game clock? Incomplete pass, snap. What's the play clock? With fouls on the defense, 40. There we go. This is what everybody should be going through, the progressions in their head. Don't just rely on your referee for this. And so let's go back to the beginning of the play. We have the ball was snapped at looks like the 14-yard line. Where are we going?
Half distance to the 7.
Okay, do we have a first down?
No.
Make sure the offense knows that. Reason I say that, look at this next play, 1st and 7. TV
Yeah, it's
people
not
don't know
not an
this.
auto first anymore.
Right. It's not an automatic first down. Don't just assume that. Those who work Saturdays, don't just assume that. Okay. This is where, see, 3rd down on the box. If you're a new official and you see 1st down on the box, this is where you can save the crew. The game clock should be snap. Play clock should be at 40. 3rd down. And when you tell the coach, again, I'm reiterating this, make sure they know it's still 3rd down, because a lot of them don't understand the difference. Okay, they're going to think they got an automatic first.
Hey, Brian, it looks like everybody on the game did it right. It's TV, it's wrong.
You're right. But I'm just pointing that out. I'm just pointing out, because if TV is wrong, I'm sure there are other people who don't understand this. Okay, just, that's why I said to relay the information to the coach. Okay. So next we have a play with the game clocks, the play clock's ticking down. Quarterback draw. So here we go. Do we have a first down? Yes, they're killing the clock. So this is a situation, we're under 2 minutes in the half. We're going to wait until the umpire sets the ball, referees, to wind the clock. If this was outside 2 minutes, then we take our little liberties of when the umpire gets the ball in their hands, we wind the clock. But the only person at this time should be touching the ball, excuse me, is the umpire. Umpire, get in, get the ball, get it set. And this is where it's extremely important to mirror. Head linesman comes in here, the line judge should mirror, because the umpire will get the ball, turn around and look at the line judge where the ball is, set it down and get out, because they could be moving a little bit quicker here. Here we go, 35 seconds on a running clock. Second down and 5. So we, as the clock's running, they should at least get 2 plays off if they really want to. So now we have 2 people moving at the same time, 3 people if you count. So we got a line of scrimmage officials. They got to get set. They got to get set. Do they get set? Yes, they get set. Shovel pass out. Do we down? Our Cardinals sin, we leave the goal line. So the ball snapped at the 5. Our deep wings where they should be. We got to get to the goal line of scrimmage officials. So now tackled. Is they tackled in bounds or out of bounds? He's out of bounds, but then we have a throw down and a flag. So that's a situation where they're out at the 2. We have a flag. Okay. This is a situation where it's perfectly okay to give the dead ball, personal foul, late hit out of bounds, defense, number such and such. That penalty, we have to this distance to the goal line, repeat first down. And so the ball went out of bounds. Field judge works the game clock.
Brian, you're not repeating first down on a dead ball foul.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right. So it'll be second down, right? Unless is it an automatic first down, John?
No.
Okay, so it's second down. Okay, thank you for clearing me up. So personal foul, late hit out of bounds, excuse me, dead ball, personal foul, late hit out of bounds, defense, number such and such. That penalty will be half the distance to the goal. The down counts, second down. Okay, then looks like he was out at the 2. We put the ball at the 1. What are we doing with the game clock? Snap. What are we doing with the play clock? 40. So we have 20 seconds to go on a dead clock. We have a shift. I'm running through my head. They have to get set. They have to get set. Do they get set? Yes. Pitch. Now, do they get in? We have someone killing the clock. We have a touchdown on this play, but as you could see, the game clock was still moving. But look what we have. We have someone who's aware of the situation to stop the clock and then put time back on the clock. You could see, put it back to 14. We can't go to sleep, and the side judge in this situation didn't. So he did a really good job. So, I hope that everyone, I'm sorry I went a little bit longer than I wanted to, but I hope you all got a little bit out of what we did this. Football is a great game because it's a situation where we're together as a crew. We have 10 weeks here together. It's not like basketball. It's not like baseball where you're a singular person coming in Tuesday, Thursday, Friday night, coming in the call game with 2 different people, 3 different people, and moving out. You develop a cohesiveness, a brother sisterhood of people, and you're in it for each other. But everyone has their own job, and the better we are at understanding, owning our position, and doing our job, the better it is for all the other officials. So we'll go over a little bit more mechanically later on in the week, but I'll stop talking now and throw it to Nick.
All right, Brian, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Hey, guys and ladies, appreciate all your time you spent on the call tonight. Is there any questions? I saw some chat questions come across. If Dave Blair's still on, okay, Dave, we're understanding that the dead ball signal for the pre-snap fouls is going to go away, correct, in the mechanics. Is that correct?
Yes, and if everybody takes a look at the six-man mechanic, there's been some changes on it, consolidation. And I'm gonna go back through and look at that tonight. I know Dave Barry and I have chatted offline here, and I'm gonna update that, make sure that we put that in some section that states that, you know, maybe during those obvious false start and encroachments that we can forego that and kind of move things a little bit, you know, along, and also align it with some of the other mechanics from the upper level, and as well 7-man mechanics will be changed too.
And then Brian, there was another question on chat around O2Os. You basically want to make sure that you use O2Os as an integral part of officiating, and that's it. We shouldn't be like talking on it. We shouldn't be doing, you know,
No.
where we going
No.
out afterwards, whatever, correct?
This is what I assume when I talk on the O2O. Anybody can hear it. I can't make it, you never know who has the channel. You think it's secure, it may not be, okay? You don't want to make derogatory comments. And like I said earlier, we do not use it in lieu of our mechanics. We use it to supplement our mechanics.
Okay, any other questions, folks? Hey, thank you for all your time tonight, guys. Appreciate it, guys and ladies. And good luck during the season. And I will see you guys all Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday in your specific referees and umpires Monday, judges, my fault, wing guys on Tuesday and judges on Wednesday. We're well aware that there's chapter meetings going on. So these will all be recorded and will be sent out to your chapter presidents and rules interpreters so you can get a view of them. Anything else? Okay, guys, thank you.
Thanks, Nick.
Take care.
Thanks,
Have a good
Brian.
night.
Good job, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.